I've been on a late night grind, city lights, I'm on a late night ride. I got my drink on the rocks and my neck on ice. Time is money, so we tell them don't waste my time. Watching the hands ticking on my hoop load. Big bang like I soon blow, yeah. Tailor fit for when I do road. On a late night vibe, yeah, you know. I've been watching the hands ticking on my hoop load, yeah. Big bang like I soon blow, yeah. Tailor fitted with my Euro. On a late night vibe, yeah, you know, yeah. It's a vibe, we vibing late night, yeah. It's a vibe, we vibing late night.
Hello and welcome to Late Night Vibe. Stephen Howson, joined by our special guest today, Alan Shearer. Thank you for joining us out.
Thank you.
Of course, Joel Beya and Rio Ferdinand. Cheers, boys.
Yes, guys.
Cheers.
What's happening?
All right.
Bit of a different vibe tonight for the Euros. Special edition show. Presented to you guys by Hoddle. Cheers to our sponsors for tonight. What's happening?
No, nothing. We just come out of the studio straight here. Got in a car, bang, straight to this studio. Late night with Vibe. Let's go.
No messing around. For you guys watching, this is a relaxed version of a Late Night Vibe show. You're like, what is Late Night Vibes? We just talk, man. Casual talking. Obviously, it's the Euros. Alan, I'm going to start with you firstly. Right, you've known Rio since he was a young lad. Always tall, but a young lad.
Yeah.
When did you first spot him? I want to know, personally.
Well, we just spoke about it tonight on air. Rio said he was brought in as a youngster to the... I know he looks a lot older than that, but he was brought into Euro '96. Terry Venables did that, and then Glenn Hoddle did it with youngsters after that. So that was the first time when you brought in to the squad, wasn't you?
I was sitting there, I remember watching, and I remember, because you used to get an allocation of phone calls home.
Yeah.
There weren't mobiles then, right? So you get phone calls home, so I used to bang the phone calls out and just phone all my mates. Like Shearer's, all he finds is side netting. Like Gaza. Was Gaza, Incy, like just talking, reporting home on like all these, because obviously I grew up watching these guys. And I was sitting in there as a 16 years old kid, thinking, wow. And I went initially thinking I was going to be like getting the bibs and the balls, but I ended up training and joining in, and just alongside these lot was just like crazy.
We had such a good, bunch of leaders then. You know, when you look through the team,
Group of men, wasn't it?
Adams and Seaman, Ince in midfield, and myself and Teddy Sheringham. It was one that got away that tournament, man.
Can I quickly check? So you got called up, right, just to literally be in and around the squad for the experience?
Well, I think the FA, Glenn Hoddle, wasn't it, who initiated it and said, I want to get some of the young prospects who are like 16 or so years old, who we've got big plans for in the future, maybe have got good potential, to come and just see what it's like and taste a tournament. I was one of the ones picked. I was lucky, I got to stay for 2 games.
Oh, wow.
So I stayed for the Netherlands game and for the Scotland game, 2 of the best games, so I was lucky.
Was that a Lily shot thing?
No, I went off to
Burnham Beaches.
Burnham Beaches it was.
We used to train out and stay in the hotel. I think we did something similar in Russia 2 or 3 years ago. We were just talking about in the car on the way here. Is that although they didn't get them into the squad, they got them into the BBC just to sort of sample what goes on in a tournament from a media point of view. They got Phil Foden, Mason Mount, and Sessegnon. Just to get this and it was something on a similar theme but it was brought into the England squad rather than the media side of things for the young players, and it just gives you a little vibe of what's there and what you can be and what you can achieve.
And we were sitting there going like look what Mason Mount and Phil Foden are like now. Like they were just
3 years ago,
3 young boys who come in. You said that Mason Mount was the only one who could actually read the York queue, who had the confidence, who had the confidence to do it. Do you know what I mean? So it just shows you it prepping. And you look at them now. I spoke to Phil Foden the other day on camera. Fine, not a problem. So, but that grounding and that work done behind the scenes is really, really important.
Brilliant.
And it's not just obviously about the camera. Can you imagine now he's in the camp? He's got a little bit of experience now. Do you know what I mean? He's a little bit more comfortable. He's not going to go there. Hopefully not. Obviously, it's different playing the tournament, but actually being there comfortable is something else. You said something that struck me. You said he's always hitting the side net and he's like getting it in. Goal machine. This is 96 Shearer. You know what I mean?
We spoke about it just before on TV, right?
Yeah.
Going into that 96 where he won the Golden Boot,
Yeah.
he hadn't scored for 2 years.
I remember the papers.
Yeah,
For
he
England,
shouldn't
yeah.
play for England. For England, obviously, he'd scored at club level every week, but with England, he hadn't scored for was it 12 or 13 games?
12 games, yeah, I think it was, for 2 years. I mean, they were all friendlies for 2 years because the tournament was in England, so England didn't have to qualify. So I had no qualifying games. So they were all friendlies. But it was just one of those things, whatever I did, I just couldn't score. And I was getting battered, as you can
Is that
imagine.
because of the competitive nature of friendlies or lack of competitive nature?
I think it was a bit of both. I mean, I always said, well, judge me when it matters in the big games. But thankfully, the manager stuck with me because when there were so many good players around at the time as well. I mean, Robbie Fowler, Les Ferdinand, Andy Cole, all these
missed
guys.
out?
Ian Wright.
Who missed out in '96? Because there was some.
Les didn't go, did he? Oh, right.
Kev Campbell never went, did he?
Don't think Wrighty did.
That's mad, isn't it?
Robbie was on the bench. So all those players that I missed out, I was still scoring for Blackburn, but I just couldn't for some reason hit the back of the net for
Do you
England.
think players nowadays would have got that time? Like if Harry Kane don't score for 12 games, is he still getting the time? If there was that level of striker around, like the depth behind you back then, I don't think it's as
No, I know.
as much now.
I think certainly with the social media pressure nowadays that players, managers, coaches, whoever are put under, then he probably wouldn't. Having said that, I don't think there's great depth underneath Harry Kane. I mean, there's no one of his standard anyway. I know there's Calvert-Lewin, there's Ollie Watkins, there's Bamford, Ings, players like that. But I think that tells you how good Harry Kane is and how important he is to the team.
I think he gets away with it though, because if you look at the World Cup, I know Sterling's not in the exact same position, but he didn't score throughout the tournament. He was still playing. And like you just said as well, the quality of Harry Kane, I don't think anyone matches him. And I think he's at such a calibre, you're not just going to drop him out. Southgate would ride with him the whole way through.
But you see now, different now. I think if Sterling starts this tournament, don't score for 2 games, you've got Grealish, you've got Foden, you've got Sancho, Rashford all coming in. It's different in that position.
In that position.
No,
it's
different.
And they'll all be used as well, I think, Rio, won't they? Because of the season that we've had. I know Grealish is coming into it fresh because he's probably missed 2 or 3 months of football through injuries. He's just come back for the last couple of weeks, and he's been brilliant in the friendlies. But I think you'll see players being taken off and rested because of the 5 subs rule that you're allowed. And if one's not performing, then you've got someone else to come in. I mean, the attacking options that England have now is pretty frightening.
It's the worrying defence and midfield, though, isn't it? Because you've got a couple of good players in defence and midfield, but there's no depth, and certainly not the depth that you've got at 10 or winger or even striker. Like, you haven't got a backup like Calvert-Lewin, have you, in midfield or defence, like you have at number 9?
I don't know. If Declan Rice is injured, you're presuming that he might not start with Henderson. Henderson comes in for Declan Rice. I don't think you think, okay, that's a decent replacement, a good replacement. If a fit Henderson starts, I think, in this team. But if Declan Rice
Is that
comes
assuming
in
one sort of defensive-minded midfielder?
Yeah.
He might go with 2. I mean, he might go with Rice and Phillips, haven't he, in the first game. Depending, it looks as if he might play 3 at the back.
We were debating this earlier as well, weren't we? We were talking about
I think from midfield to forward, I think we're in a decent position. I think certainly in forward positions. Defensively, I think I would agree with you that would be my one concern is down the middle. Certainly the centre half and the goalkeeper. Although the goalkeepers never let England down or Gareth Southgate down, he can be prone to a mistake.
If he plays 3 at the back like you think he'll play, and he goes, I don't know, he might go Walker, Cody, because he spoke about Cody, if he's in the squad because he can play. He's the one who does naturally play there and plays there for his club. So I presume if he plays 3, he'll play him and say Stones or Shaw. And Alan Shearer, does Alan Shearer fancy playing against that?
Yeah, I think so. That wouldn't particularly scare me if I was a centre forward. Having said that, when you look at the teams England are playing in the group, Croatia not what they were 3 years ago when England played them in the semi-final. No Mandzukic. Scotland, they are what they are. It'll be a tough game because of the rivalry and Czech Republic. I mean, we should have enough to get past all of those 3 teams, and then depending what we face, and that's the bigger test awaits. Because if we finish top of our group, then I think we play the second of France, Germany, or Portugal in that
and
group
go
of
home.
death. So
I
that's when it
would,
gets interesting.
I wouldn't think that far ahead because I reckon, as weird as it sounds, even teams like Scotland, they're a little bit of a dark horse, you know.
Dark
Really?
horse?
Yeah.
For what?
Well, I reckon they got 1 or 2 players, a couple players that could hurt this current England team. I reckon. I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm serious. Give me a couple games. We'll come back and we'll revisit this.
How many drinks have you had?
I'm on the waters today. I'm on the waters.
That gin must have been strong, is it?
The truth on this
yeah,
Scotland
yeah.
team is they're going to play a back three. They're
Yeah.
going to completely try and deny space. McGinn and McTominay in midfield, you know exactly what you're going to get. It's energy, it's work rate. But there's no quality in there. They're having to play Turney and Robertson on a left-hand side, making Turney play left of a back three just to accommodate 2 of their better players. They've got 2 good players in both left-backs. And that's probably a little unfair on McGinn.
They're going to compete.
Yeah, I'm not going to say they're going to win. I'm saying they're going to give England. I reckon they'll give them a bit of trouble.
It'll be a tough game because they always are. England, we very rarely make it look like Italy made it look today, which was easy, fairly easy.
We played Scotland in the playoffs before Euro 2000.
I was in the stands watching you.
Home and away, we battered them 3 in I think Scholes
got 2, didn't he?
2 was it? In Scotland, and then they came back to Wembley for the return leg and they beat us 1-0. Don Hutchinson scored at the far post, a header. And that game in Euro 96, I mean that game turned in 1 minute when McAllister missed the penalty. If you look at the ball, I'm telling you, the ball moves at half an inch, and when he hits that ball, a minute later, we're 2-0 up because of Gaza's genius when he lobs it over Hendry and then sticks it past Andy Gorham, wasn't it? And then, so it could have been so differently. So, but there's a difference in class, yes, but I agree that I think it'll be a difficult game just because most times England-Scotland are difficult.
Who can be the person in our England team right now in this tournament?
Easy.
The Gaza moments for us. That you need to win a tournament.
Easy.
Well, Grealish could be. Grealish has been really impressive in the couple of friendlies that England have played. It's very difficult to take things out of friendlies because you're not playing the team that you're going to play. You just don't know where other players are. But Grealish has been very, very good. I mean, Mason Mount, I'm pretty sure will start because every manager that he's played for, whether that's Frank or whether that's Tuchel or whether it's now Southgate, they all love him, and rightly so because of what he offers. Foden could be, but I think if England are going to do well, they'll need Harry Kane to go and be in and around golden boot time again. Yeah, so if he can get 5, 6, 7 goals, then England will go far into the tournament.
I don't know about that.
What, don't know that he'll score them goals or he can be the
I
talisman?
reckon Harry can score the goals, but look at him. You know, they did fantastic, during the World Cup, but I just don't think that they have enough. Something's missing for me. I know we're all supposed to be in a good vibes and good atmosphere, but I'm not forward at all. I'm more interested, right, in knowing World Cup 98. I know it's about Euros, but World Cup 98.
Yeah.
You've now seen him develop. What was you seeing in this young man in the England camp when you're training with him on a daily basis?
Well, am I right, Rio? When Glenn was taken over, he was going to play. He started to play on the right hand side a bit, didn't he?
Yeah,
over 3. Yeah.
He was going to play me as a centre, but he introduced me to the team playing the right hand side. Forget we was away somewhere. And
Right wing back?
No, right side of a free. But he was saying, but what his main coaching point to me going into the games was, when you get it, run out with the ball. Go commit someone straight away, get out and run with the ball and keep going.
A midfielder, pull a midfielder out.
Whoever it was came to me, would come to defend, and then I remember him saying to Inti, and if Rio goes into, you drop in and fill in the space. But he was saying to me at the time, I'm going to play you as a sweeper, but I'll play you in front and behind. And that's my biggest thing. I don't know about how you feel, that when he got the sack, Glenn, I think it was a big miss for English football. Definitely. Because we were on the road to some sort of glory.
I think everyone was really disappointed that Terry Venables lost his job after '96 because we felt as if we were, I mentioned the big characters we had and the big players that we had. But then for Glenn to come in, and Glenn was a really impressive coach, wasn't he? I mean, his sessions I thought were fantastic. And he
best coach I worked with.
Really,
yeah, best coach.
I mean, he gave me the biggest and best thing that anyone could ever give. He gave me the England captaincy. So it was. I thought Glenn was amazing. So we were all really disappointed again, and in the way that he lost his job, because I'm pretty sure that we were on the cusp of something. There was a good vibe. There was a good bunch of players, good atmosphere, and we're just getting into a system that was going to be good. I thought, and it was a shame that he lost his job.
He was building the team around, obviously Alan as captain, but Michael Owen as well, and Paul Scholes. I was behind that, but it was that was the creativity within that team was just insane, and the way he had us playing. Like today, you see the Italian team, the shape they had. The shape sometimes causes more problems than anything else at times. And he was creating situations on the pitch that like some of us hadn't even been coached before.
Was he the one who played you in the back three?
No, Harry played me in a back three all the time. So we always played a back four. It was a back five at West Ham most of the time because we was defending, but I'd always played there as a kid.
All right, so you was pretty used to it coming into it. You'd like it?
Yeah, I loved it because it freed me up to come out with the ball more. It obviously like you're there to defend, but it gave me the ability to come out with the ball because you got extra numbers. And the way that Glenn played it was different to the way that Harry played it. He's actually played it for you to get out and create the overload in midfield. And then I had to learn how to play in a four, going with England and going to Leeds and going to then Man United. I hadn't played in a four all my life growing up, but I always played in a back five.
Who took over after Glenn? Was it Keegan?
Kevin Keegan, I think. Yeah.
Did you play under him? You did play under him.
Yeah. That was my it was my last. That was my last tournament, 2000. Then I think he resigned in the September or October when England played Germany at Wembley. But I went into Euro 2000 under Kevin, knowing that was going to be my last time with England because I couldn't. Something was going to go because of the 3 injuries that I had, so I had to retire. Albeit I was only a month before my 30th birthday, so.
How did you because obviously I've got my own way of how I prepared in tournaments and that. How did you deal with going into that bubble? Like these players today, because it's difficult. People talk about you just go and play football, but there are difficulties with doing it. How did you deal with that?
I loved it. I mean, I hated being on my own anyway in my room, so I was always out with someone else or in someone else's, one of the lads' room, or playing snooker or cards or whatever it may be, or golf or whatever it may be. But I just loved the tournament atmosphere. You know, when you're left and then you're in the hotel and you're creating the atmosphere. I thought it was brilliant. I really enjoyed it.
Do you reckon that obviously that's something big when you go in tournaments? What did you guys do? What did you do to chill out and stuff? I know you're a music man, you like vibes and stuff. And who were you with as well during that time?
I was with Michael Owen in '98 because we were the two young kids. I always remember Al. He had his clique with Rob Lee. I don't know if he went to the tournament. But Rob Lee, Tim Flowers.
Yeah. Just club mates.
It's just club mates. I think that it probably was a bit of an issue because there was that much rivalry. And it is difficult at times, particularly the rivalry then, because you're kicking lumps out of each other, or trying to, week in, week out, and then you've got to come together and try and say, well, okay, I'm going to forget about that for a week. And then you've got to sit and have dinner and talk and laugh and joke. And it can be difficult at times, and I think that's where Gareth Southgate's done a really good job in creating that atmosphere with the players, and it probably was a bit of an issue at the time.
And I think we were always made to feel, or it seemed to us, the media were the enemy. Where Gareth done unbelievable in terms of the last tournament, he brought the media in and made them a part of it and made them feel part of it. So it's a lot more difficult for a journalist to really badmouth and be vindictive against an individual within that squad when he's having to walk around that place on a daily basis and then you have to front that person. He can do it from behind the keyboard and behind the screen and never see that player do it, not a problem. But when he's got to meet you, he's going to have to think twice before he writes those words.
Albeit, you know, when I started off on my England career in 1992, it was when I went to the European Championship in Sweden. It was really weird because we used to travel on the same plane as the press. And then we used to sit at the front of the plane and all the press had to walk past us. And of course, if you've been hammered off the press, you got like people like right here who were just relentless and giving them stick, shouting at the press as they were walking past us on the plane.
Martin Keown grabbed one of them up once, didn't he?
Probably if Martin was Martin, yeah.
Fiery.
Definitely.
Come on, let's get into them stories. Those are the stories we're here for. Shit going west.
No, there was always like mad stuff going on. But it's going back to the thing about what you used to do in the actual hotel. You'd be pranking people. You'd be in the kit man's area, taking people's clothes and stuff like that, or people's kit and stuff. we were lucky. We had loads of computer games set up for us and golfing simulators, and there's no stone left unturned to try and like get away from boredom. Boredom is probably one of the biggest things that can affect us. So you've got to try and keep busy and doing stuff, and like, there's loads of stuff going on, so it's good.
Communication with family, is that limited? What's that like?
Yeah, it's limited. I think they were allowed 1 day in the hotel or something per the month, and then that was it. Maybe after a game for a night, and then that was it. They were back home again until after the tournament.
Gaza in those situations.
Where do you want to start with Gaza?
I don't know.
There's so many stories. I was speaking. I interviewed Gaza about a month ago, and he was telling me the story where he played a prank on Robbie Fowler, and Robbie wasn't best pleased, so he went to reception, got Gaza's key, and did something with his toothbrush that you don't want to know about. and then he just waited for Robbie for Gaza to come down the next morning. And Robbie sat at breakfast and he said, "All right, Gaza?" He said, "Yeah, I'm all right. How are you?" He said, "You anything to say?" He said, "No, what do you mean?" He said, "Did you not see your toothbrush this morning?" Gaza come down because he cleaned his teeth with his toothbrush. I'm not telling you where his toothbrush was. But yeah, I mean, whether it was that or playing cards or having a race night, it was always the captain's job and mostly me and Teddy Sheringham to be the bookmakers on the horse racing night. So just having little bets on the other games, because I think that was important as well. You know, like when the other games are on, it's important that the team sit together as a squad and watch the games coming in. So yeah, I mean, you're away for a month, but I always really enjoyed it.
You've played alongside many greats for Man United, of course. But when you're playing for England, who would you say is the most talented player you've ever seen?
In an England shirt,
Yeah. It's easy to say Wayne Rooney. I know that's always your go-to, but...
No, it's Wayne Rooney's he's up there, but Scholes was my favourite player, like in terms of talent, like natural talent. Like
Even at England?
Even with England, when I used to go with England, from the first times I used to go in that tournament to when he finished playing with England, his last training session probably, he was always one of the best players in training every single day. His standards were so high every day. Such an unassuming character, chilled out. You'd never hear anything out of him. But his standards in training, and I have to say, every other player from every club used to you come in and you speak to him and they go, "I didn't realise fucking Scholes was that good, man." That's what it was like. I don't know about you, Al.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. I mean, I played against him and with him for England. He had a nasty streak to him as well in terms of wanting. I mean, he wasn't great at tackling at times, but I think part of that was trying to hurt people. He was very good at that. But in terms of natural ability, Gaza was ridiculous. Really? The things that he could do with the football was outstanding. Yeah.
More than Scholes for you? Because I'm always having this debate, because I didn't get to see...
they were different. I mean, Scholesy was incredible. That moving that ball out and pinging it 30, 40 yards. He was brilliant at it. Whether you wanted a high pass or a low pass that was going to be 4 or 5 yards off the deck, he was superb at it. And so Gaza was slightly different with it, running at players and going past players, but they were both incredible footballers.
Great with his head as well, I remember against Tunisia, first game you scored, he comes in, bang. Do you know what I mean? Like real quality.
Yeah.
Quality.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
The link-up play, he played behind you, right?
Yeah, he was so
clever.
intelligent, man. He was just, there wasn't anything that he wasn't good at or brilliant at. And what do you want from a midfielder? You want someone who can pass it, you want someone who can tackle, you want someone who can score goals. You could do all of that.
That's it. Steve, I know you want to speak. Go on, get in there.
No, I'm just listening and I was thinking, you didn't obviously go to World Cup Italia 90. I thought it was a great tournament. And obviously that was perhaps Gaza's breakout moment really as a proper international star. Is that the best version of Gaza?
Yeah, I mean, you saw a incredible version of Gaza in '96 as well. I mean, that goal against Scotland.
But it's literally all you have to say is that goal against Scotland. You don't even have to say what year or who, and you go, I know what you're on about.
Well, and rightly so, by the way, because there's not many players could have done what he did. The run, the timing of the run, the lobbing it over with his left foot, Hendry, and then the volley, the technique to get it past the goalkeeper. No one even talks about my header in that goal. Probably rightly so, because how brilliant Gaza's goals was. So yeah, he was an unbelievable player. It was great to have in your. I mean, it would have been a nightmare. You know, if you're with him every day at your club, it would have been a nightmare for you because there's always something that you've got to look out for because he's playing pranks and jokes every single day. But for us who weren't playing with him or training with him every day, to go and spend 4 or 5 days with him and with England duty, it was brilliant. But
So,
that was enough.
How do you captain someone like that? How do
You got to babysit.
captain-
The lads had to
Yeah.
babysit.
Seaman
because-
was good at that, wasn't he?
Yeah, I
Seaman
mean,
used to babysit him.
Incy was great at that. Incy tells a story about it during '96 that him and Robbie Fowler in their room was known as the Queen Vic.
Really?
Yeah, because that's where everyone used to congregate and have a few drinks in there, and that's what it was. And they used to take turns in looking after Gazza just to make sure he was all right and not getting into any trouble.
That's what you do when he's your best player. But you know what the mad thing is? I was a kid, obviously, going that '96 squad, and I went into, there's like a games room, big TV, the simulator, and you can play computer games on it. And I walked in there, it must have been about midnight, the night before the Scotland game, I think it was, or Netherlands game. And as I've walked in there, there's like a sofa and then the screen. So I can't see who's on the sofa, but I can see a set of toes just hanging out the end. And at the bottom, I just see a bottle of red wine, empty. I'm thinking, who's this man? Like one of the kit men or something like that. So I've walked in to try and get a cheeky game with the golf or whatever it was. And I've looked round, it's Gazza, and he went, you better go to bed. You're not going to get on this. I'm playing all night. But he next day goes out and puts in a performance like that, and you're just like, wow, this guy's just different.
I wonder how they dealt with him in Italy.
They didn't, I don't think. They couldn't deal with him. He's just like...
I don't mean as a footballer, I mean as a personality. Imagine being a Lazio player and having this arrive at your club.
He was different, and he just...
Well, there was that famous interview, didn't he, when he sort of burped down the mic, didn't he, after a live game? I mean, they've probably never seen anything like that at all in Italy ever. So for him to go there and do that, but wherever Gazza goes, everyone sort of loves him because of he's so kind, he's so generous. He's a lost soul at times, but because of that, everyone wants to give him a hug and everyone loves him.
I remember bumping into him randomly in a city. He was just walking the streets and he ends up coming in a pub that we were working at. And it's me, my friend Dave at the time, and my other friends there. And he's just there and he comes in, he starts buying everyone drinks, and the most random thing ever. Like, it's like you hear the legends, but for us it was really unique. But
it's great.
Yeah, just seems like a great guy. Steve.
We have got a quick quiet fire round. I'm going to do it in a little bit.
Just do it now, because he's not
doing it
going to
now?
get some food, yeah.
You got a jig, yeah? All right.
What you got for me?
It's questions, isn't it? You'll find out. Right, you ready?
Yep.
Let's get the clock up. Can't actually see when it's going to be starting. We've got 60 seconds. It's quick fire rounds. Just shout your answer out. Time starts now. Right, how many goals did you score in your entire career?
422.
No, I've got 379 here, so we'll go with that.
He didn't count my England in the 21.
How many did you score in the Premier League?
260.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. How many did you score for Newcastle United?
206.
Correct. How many did you score for England?
30.
In how many caps?
63.
Correct. How many goals in a major tournament in total did you score for England?
5, 7, 9.
In how many matches?
16.
13.
Wow.
It's not a bad
than I
record,
thought
to be
20
fair.
seconds left, come on.
How many goals did you score against Rio Ferdinand?
Loads.
2 at United, 1 at Leeds.
All right.
How many did you score against Manchester United?
6.
10 in 25 matches. How many goals would you have scored for Manchester United?
I would have scored loads, and I know I would have had a load more trophies.
And how many trophies would you have won for Manchester United?
Loads.
Fucking right.
You can tell he's a Man United fan.
Oh man. You know what, guys? I think that's it, man. I'm really
No,
thanking
but
you
do
guys
you know
for
what? Can I just say before we
Yeah,
finish?
Yeah.
That goal ratio is mad when you put it out for England. 30 goals in 63 games.
Yeah.
That is a
one every-
mad
that's one
record.
every two
One every
games.
2
Finished
games.
at 30 as well.
9 in 13 games in tournaments.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And
Some
you've gone
fucking,
through-
if
and
you'd
you've
have,
gone
if
through
you'd
a stage you're
have
not
bothered your
scoring as
ass for before you're 96,
Carry this on, lads. We've got another hour if you want.
No, listen, thanks again, Al, for
Cheers,
coming
boys.
on. Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thanks very much.
Top
And
man.
also, thank you very much, Hublot. You guys have been really nice to us so far. Make sure you guys click the link in the description. You know, we've got the Euro watches that are being promoted at the moment. Rio, you're going to be back on the show as well at some point.
Yep, I'll be coming through. We've got loads of guests coming as well. We won't let you know
Sure.
who they are yet, but they're going to have some guests. He's
Yeah.
the man who started, top goal scorer in Premier League history, first inductee into the Hall of Fame, Mr. Alan Shearer. Thank you.
Cheers, boys. Thank you.
Hey,
We
get
are
the Premier
back
League teams
again.
right, please.
We are back again on Friday for another late night vibe, and we are back on Sunday for the England watch along. So make sure to come in and tune on for all of those. Make sure to subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next one. Laters.
Peace.